In today's halacha, we will continue with the laws that are relevant to 30 days before Pesach. The Adar Thirty writes in chapter 436, halacha 23, that beginning 30 days before Pesach, it's proper to be careful to avoid using chametz in a way that chametz can get stuck onto an object in a way that it will be difficult to remove it, to scrub it off before Pesach. Therefore, practically when making dough for whatever purpose, care should be taken to limit the span and area of space that the dough will be contacted within 30 days before Pesach, in order to be careful that dough does not get stuck to areas that's difficult to remove. And this leads us to a discussion regarding Play-Doh. Play-Doh of the company Hasbro is made of flour, water, and food coloring. Complete chametz ingredients. All Play-Doh that follow these ingredients, whether they're made by the Hasbro company or other companies, are considered chametz. And therefore, it's forbidden to own them on Pesach. They have to be sold with all the other chametz materials that are sold. Now, one may claim, but it's not edible, it's not considered food. So let the owners know that, in truth, Play-Doh is completely edible, and it's one of the most swallowed kid toys that exists on the market. And it's specifically made to be non-poisonous and non-toxic, because kids do eat it, and the manufacturers know of that. And therefore, it is completely edible, just like as any dough is edible, simply with food coloring. And therefore, Play-Doh is considered chametz. Because of this, A, one must be careful to include it with the sold areas throughout all the days of Pesach, and obviously not play with it during Pesach. And B, in relation to this halacha, starting already 30 days before Pesach, one should be careful that chametz Play-Doh is not used in a way that's uncontrolled, that it can get stuck to areas that are difficult to remove. In the event that someone has a project, an arts and crafts project that is made using Play-Doh, then it's proper not to have it around throughout the time of Pesach, even though that the Play-Doh is stuck and it has already become hard, because crumbs of it can fall off. And therefore, people that are making arts and crafts should choose brands that do not use chametz ingredients, as there are brands of Play-Doh that are not made with flour and water, but rather are made with more plastic ingredients, such as silly putty, or what's called plastilina in Hebrew, that don't involve any chametz ingredients, and those should be chosen instead of chametz ingredient Play-Dohs. Other halachas that relate to the 30 days. The Aruch HaShulchan brings that one should be careful starting 30 days before Pesach not to eat in areas that crumbs will fall into the svarim, meaning not to bring svarim to the table, and need to be careful when eating with svarim that crumbs do not fall into the svarim. Another halacha that Adar Thirty brings in chapter 442, halacha 26, is regarding starch in clothing. Today, most starch used for ironing clothing is a corn-based starch, and therefore does not have an issue with chametz. Even though corn is kitnius, it does not pose a problem on Pesach, as there's no prohibition in accidentally eating kitnius on Pesach. However, there is an issur of eating chametz in any which way, and therefore it's written in Shulchan Aruch that those that use a chametz flour-based starch, should not do so for the clothing that will be worn throughout Pesach, or the tablecloths that we use throughout Pesach, so they don't come chas v'shalom to eat any of those substances. The Rebbe encouraged people to begin buying Haggadahs for the children, that every single child should have a Haggadah, preferably the child should have an Haggadah that's child-friendly, that contains many different pictures that will arouse the child's interest and attention. Other reminders is regarding Pesach Kalim, that it's a minhag Yisrael to have beautiful Kalim on the Seder night and throughout Pesach, just like any Yontif. And a reminder within the 30 days is to prepare a list of those vessels that we need to purchase, and to purchase them within the right amount of time.